The moment my heart stopped on a shattered alien battlefield, I tasted her blood, and the universe inhaled in fear. I didn't know her name then. I only knew the color of her blood as it slid down my throat, glowing like liquid starlight in the dust. I only knew the sound of my own pulse collapsing into silence. And I only knew one impossible truth as darkness closed in. Humans were never meant to survive this. But that was only the beginning. The war for the Narith expanse had already killed 9 billion souls by the time I arrived. Entire star systems reduced to drifting ash. I was just another human infantryman in the Coalition's losing army, bleeding out beneath a broken sky that wasn't mine. My name was Elias Kane. Sergeant. Earthborn. Disposable. The medics never reached me. They were already dead. My armor was split open, lungs filling with blood, vision tunneling as orbital bombardment turned the horizon into fire. I remember thinking, absurdly, that I would die on a world no human would ever pronounce correctly. Then the shadows moved. She stepped through the smoke like a myth-given flesh. Tall, pale, elegant in a way that made the battlefield feel obscene. Her eyes burned crimson, ancient and intelligent, reflecting the dying stars above us. A Virexian. The galaxy's oldest nightmare. Alien vampires. The Coalition told us they drank blood to survive. That they fed on life force itself. That entire civilizations vanished when Virexian covens woke hungry. I tried to raise my rifle. My hands wouldn't respond. She knelt beside me instead. And smiled. None of us were prepared for the truth. Her voice was calm, almost sorrowful, as if she were standing at a graveside rather than a massacre. You are dying, human? I laughed weakly. Blood bubbled from my lips. Yeah. That's usually how this part goes. She studied me, head tilted, eyes glowing brighter. You fought bravely. Your kind always does. It is why you suffer so beautifully. I should have been terrified. I was. But fear felt distant, dulled by shock and fading oxygen. Just do it, I whispered. Make it quick. Instead, she sliced her own wrist. The blood didn't drip. It pulsed, luminous and alive, humming with power. The air itself seemed to bend toward it. She pressed it to my mouth. Drink, she said. Or your species will lose something it never knew it had. What I saw next changed everything. The blood burned like a star-going supernova inside my veins. I screamed as my shattered body convulsed, bones knitting, organs reforging themselves violently. My heart restarted with a thunderclap that shook the ground. I saw everything. Every soldier dying across the battlefield. Every heartbeat in the city orbit above. Every flicker of life in the planet's crust. And her memories. The Virexians were not monsters born of cruelty. They were guardians twisted by necessity. Their blood was a weapon, engineered eons ago to fight something worse. Something that devoured galaxies whole. But their creators were gone. And now so was control. I awoke screaming, my body whole, my senses screaming even louder. The Virexian woman staggered back, clutching her chest in horror. Impossible, she whispered. You should be dead. Or feral. I stood. I was stronger. Faster. Sharper. I could hear her pulse, taste the iron in the air, feel gravity like an old friend. What did you do to me? I asked. She looked at me like a god staring at its own mistake. I saved you, she said softly. And damned us all. But that was only the beginning. The Coalition noticed within minutes. Human command channels erupted with panic as biometric data streamed from my armor. Energy levels off the charts. Cellular regeneration exceeding known physics. Neural activity approaching post-singularity thresholds. They called me an abomination. The Virexians called me an anomaly. And the enemy, something ancient that hid behind the war, called me a signal. As fleets clashed above the planet, I learned the truth piece by piece. The Virexians fed not to dominate, but to contain. Their blood carried a living weapon against an entity known only as the Devourer, a cosmic intelligence that consumed life, time, and memory. The Devourer had awakened. And my transformation had just announced humanity's existence to it. Every 2 to 3 paragraphs the universe tightened its grip. The Coalition wanted me dissected. The Virexians wanted me destroyed. And the Devourer wanted me crowned. None of us were prepared for the truth. I felt it watching me from between stars. A pressure behind reality itself. A hunger older than light. It spoke without words. It showed me futures, Earth hollowed out, humanity absorbed into an endless screaming mind. It promised survival, power, ascension. All I had to do was surrender. I almost did. Because the hunger inside me was growing. Virexian blood demanded balance. Feeding. Control. Without it, I would eventually become what the galaxy feared. A human vampire god. The Virexian woman, her name was Sarathiel, stayed with me despite everything. She taught me restraint, history, regret. She confessed that giving me her blood broke every law her species had left. You are not meant to exist, she said one night aboard a dying space station. And yet, you feel necessary. That scared me more than anything. But that was only the beginning. The midpoint came when Earth entered the war. The Devourer moved toward Sol. Not with ships. With silence. Stars began going dark ahead of it. Entire civilizations vanished without distress calls. The galaxy panicked. Ancient enemies formed alliances. Even the Virexian elders emerged from hiding. And all of them looked at me. Use him, the coalition demanded. Kill him, the Virexians argued. Become me, the Devourer whispered. Then I realized the truth. The blood didn't just change me. It made me a bridge. A living weapon that could reach where nothing else could, inside the Devourer itself. Wait, this is not what I expected. The final battle didn't look like war. It looked like surrender. I flew alone into the Devourer's core, guided by Sarathiel's voice fading through static. Reality peeled apart as I crossed thresholds no human mind was built to comprehend. Inside, the hunger welcomed me. I felt trillions of lives crushed into one endless scream. And I offered it something new. Humanity. Not as prey, but as resistance. I poured every memory I had into it. Lost. Hope. The stubborn refusal to accept extinction. The way humans fought even when logic said we shouldn't. The Devourer recoiled. For the first time in its existence, it felt something it couldn't consume. I detonated the Virexian blood within me, turning myself into a living prison. A star of crimson light erupted in the void, ripping the Devourer apart from the inside. The galaxy held its breath. I didn't die. I changed. Again. The Devourer was gone, but its void remained, bound to me. I became something else. Not human. Not Virexian. A sentinel anchored between realities, holding the darkness at bay. Earth was saved. The war ended. The galaxy rewrote its laws. Sarathiel stood on the bridge of a coalition flagship, watching the rift where I now existed. Tears streaked down her pale face. You promised you'd come back, she whispered. I spoke through every channel at once. I am still here. The universe listened. They call me many things now. Guardian. Monster. God. But I remember the truth. I was a dying human soldier who drank alien vampire blood to survive. And in doing so, I taught the universe what humanity truly becomes when extinction looks us in the eye and blinks first.